1 year ago, if you told me I'd be hanging out with a bunch of people at a board game tournament, I would have thought something at Gen Con or maybe even Comic Con. But here I am, off to record video for a game that up until a year ago I'd never played a day in my life. A tournament with, as I'd find out, a ton of awesome people who all share one passion: backgammon.
What's up, everybody? Nick Blasier here.
That saves everything. I mean, the difference here is monstrous.
As someone who's played a lot of board games in his life, tournaments are not really the first thing that come to mind. But as it turns out, that's exactly what comes to the mind of a lot of people when backgammon comes into the equation. And I got to experience that firsthand this past weekend at the Cherry Blossom Backgammon Tournament just outside of Washington, D.C. I got brought onto this tournament fairly late in the process, and special thanks to Ben Friesen for bringing me on board. The first few days were a mixture of story planning, general preparation, figuring out the overall stream setup, and of course when you're this close to the US Capitol, I gotta check that out with my family, right? And Nick Blasier tagged along. All right, I'm heading down to the first day of the Backgammon Tournament. A lot of setup, a lot of getting ready, and I'm excited. We're not even sure what exactly we're doing today. I think we're doing some super jackpot stuff. I don't think we're going to Masters yet, but I'm excited to jump in and check it out. I got a sweet shirt to wear too. Lots of good stuff. Took a step outside to get a little breather and step away for a second and just take a break. Been shooting video just nonstop for Ben for the tournament and meeting a lot of really cool people. And man, there's not words for this. Like I'm just having so much fun. There's just been so much backgammon being played, and it's only Friday. The main event, Saturday and Sunday for novice, intermediates, and I don't even know what the advanced is called. If it's just the open or where the big dogs play, essentially. That hasn't even begun yet, but there's been the Super Jackpot, the Masters Jackpot, tons of side events, doubles. There's just been so much backgammon being played. Just such a great experience. So many cool people. There's too many to name. Just a great experience. And like I said, we haven't even started yet. But when we did get to the main event, the tournament was firing on all cylinders, and the sound of dice and checkers clacking filled the hall. And let me tell you, that sound is a thing of beauty.
What's up, everybody? Nick Blasier here. As the tournament room winds down on Saturday, I say winds down. It's still nice and noisy. Lots of backgammon action going on in here. But we are starting to sift through the field and ending up with about 10 players remaining here to move on to still playing for the prizes in the ABT main event. And these 3 trophies up top. We've worked our way down to 2 undefeated semifinalists. So on that side of the bracket, we have Jason Lee, who actually in a 72-player field, 8 of the players got an anti-buy and had to play an extra round. He was one of them and still managed to win 6 wins along the way to this undefeated finals. And along the way, he beat Carol Joy Cole, Boris Dektar, Marty Storer, Roberto Litzenberger, all names you're going to hear about later on in the one defeat bracket. So there's a lot of chances for those players to come back for their rematch, for their revenge.
How do you feel the tournament's been going?
Man, I tell you what, from top to bottom, there have been plenty of mistakes, as there always are, but this has been the best tournament we've ever run. The work you've done and the streaming has been amazing, but also Paul, Andy, Jonathan, Julius, Tom, Nick, Nano, Ed, everyone has been a huge part of this.
A phenomenal team.
And I'm so excited that things like our brackets just worked really well this year. Plenty of things to improve on, but that's to be expected.
I'm not gonna lie, I barely played any backgammon this whole week.
Right.
Which for better or worse, it's been phenomenal either way, because I've watched like the best of the best playing, which has been.
I mean, yes.
It's like a
I saw you over there,
itself.
like listening and watching.
Yes.
I'm like, it was good. I thought you were working, like you were editing, and then I'm like, oh no, he's enjoying it. Good. Like, that's awesome.
For sure, I was.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, so we're getting the Nick coffee shop brew experience. Let's see it.
That's right. You do have to like actually come in on all this.
Yep.
But I bring my cheapy water boiler along with me. I'm usually like very specific with the weights and everything like that. But I just do my best on the road and bring a lot of beans along and everything like that too. And I end up brewing with the Kalita Wave a lot. And so at home I like to be more precise, but I can do pretty well here still. What do we want to make them? We'll make them the Mexico. But so we'll pick 49th parallel. I mean, the beans are the key, right? Yeah, you see the Duo DC that we got there, all those Indonesian roasts and stuff.
Picked this up at DC, played some backgammon. It was awesome.
Hell yeah. But so I figured out that for that thermos size that we have, which I think is around like 700 or 800 milliliters that it fits, that just 2 scoops from my AeroPress scoop into the Lido works pretty well. It's close enough for a ratio. You know, I don't know if it has to be exact. Maybe I could make it taste a little bit better. But we do well enough, and it's a burr grinder, so I get like a pretty consistent grind with it too. And yeah, that's how I do all my road coffee, man.
I can 100% say it's just as good as any quality coffee shop.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah.
If only you could smell through YouTube, because this smells phenomenal.
So I like to even it out a little bit. You get a little bit of dust there that you could probably toss if you wanted. But I mean, that's the key. Like, as long as you have a consistent grind and not too much fines and dust and things that clog up the filter, then the water flows fast enough and you get it through in like a minute or 2 or something like that. And that's about the extraction time that you want out of it.
Nice.
So, okay, I always use way too much water for the bloom, but we're gonna go for it just to make sure we get all the grounds wet there. And I actually just learned recently that this Kalita Wave has this little air vent there. And so if you don't position it over like an open area, then it doesn't have anywhere to release the gases that it's going in. And so it'll stop up a little bit. So it's a nice, like super important feature that I just didn't even realize was on there.
I'm over here hiding in the corner, got to be kind of quiet. The Super Jackpot final match is going on right now. You could probably see them back there between Matt Cohn-Geyer and Ray Fogerland. It's the final match of that. Really exciting. 3 best of 3 9-point matches, bringing it all to an end here. There's an exciting match leading up to who is going to basically be one of the finalists in the main event versus Jason Lee and John O'Hagan. John ended up pulling that one out, but that was a really fun match to watch. Nick Blasier and Kent Golding were commentating during that. They did an excellent job. And we have the Masters Jackpot coming to an end later today as well. And we're waiting to see who's going to be playing John O'Hagan in the main event. And you can hear all the buzz going on behind me here. It's a really exciting day and a good wrap up to the Cherry Blossom tournament. So I'm excited to see how it all ends. How's it going, Paul?
I'm doing pretty good.
So what did you do here at the tournament? What was your role?
So as assistant director, I pretty much take on everything that Ben doesn't have time to do. And I help keep Ben on track too. He checks me, I check him, and just together we're trying to make sure that everyone has a good time and that everything's fair.
Yes, I think you accomplished that. Paul was not he didn't stop at all this whole tournament. He was just constantly running around, making things go smoothly.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell from looking at me, but I'm averaging half a night of sleep per night, so it adds up to a couple of nights of sleep.
I think that's something to be said, how much work goes into these tournaments to make them good, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys work so hard, and I came in so late to this, so I didn't even see half the pre-production, essentially.
I like interacting with the players. I like when someone's getting ready to go home, I always say, did you have a good time?
Nice.
Most of the time, whether they won or whether they lost, they say, yes, I had a great time. And that's why I do tournaments.
And I hope everyone did have a good time, because I definitely did. It was a fun, just packed full week of fun, excitement, learning, and although I didn't get to play in this tournament, I got to watch a lot of the best players in the world play, and that in itself is an education. And I'm just really looking forward to putting that to use in the Chicago Open that's coming up here at the end of May. I'll be playing in the novice division, and I'm just really excited about that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I kind of have an idea of how tournaments run now. Not that that's going to help me in the actual gameplay, but I'm that much more excited to get out and play now in the day-to-day, but especially in my first tournament in Chicago here. And there'll be a video coming up on that, so stay tuned. And at the end of it all, and the most important thing to me, is everyone I talked to made my family feel like we were part of their family. Backgammon truly is an incredible game, and getting together with so many people who are passionate about it, all in one room, I can't understate how cool that is. And it's something that I would highly recommend to anyone who's willing to give it a try. I'm extremely excited to get back to my next tournament, and one thing I can tell you is that I'll never forget my first tournament at Cherry Blossom.